What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be going over my comic books I made like 2 months ago. So the first one is called Jackson Volume 1, Number 1, Introducing the Monster Tabatwitch, which in Filipino Tabatwitch means fat, which means. So the main villain of the story is my sister. So she is the Tabatwitch. Let's get into it. Roll the intro. Thanks for rolling the intro. Alright, so the story starts off with me running into my room saying, "What is that?" And if you don't, I was going to release a prequel story to this called Jupiter Number 0. But that does not even have a cover, and sadly it will never get a cover. So sorry to say that. If y'all wanted to actually see this, I'll throw up pages all over the screen whenever I can. So currently we're looking at the first page. So then I see something perched up on a bed. And then in a box it says, "What is that?" And turns out it was my sister. If you don't remember who she is, she's in all of my toy hunts, except for the Antique Mall one. So she's there. She is a demon, or possessed. Not really a witch. She still has powers, but we'll never see those throughout. And then I fall to the ground out of shock, and then I say, "Ah!" But my mouth is barely opened, which makes no sense. But then my sister jumps at me with her sharp teeth, like moving out and stuff. And then she says, "Rah!" And then she's perched up on me. Something is coming out of her mouth. And then I say, "What is that in its mouth?" And then it's like some cramped hand. It's like a face. It's like those tongues from the Alien franchise. And it's trying to go towards my mouth. I think I got this idea from the film Wreck. Just throw the image up there. Sorry if y'all do not want to see that. There you go. And then it says it's coming closer. And then I say, out of the most disrespectful roasts ever, I say, if I don't have anything to say about it. And then I literally just smack her. And then she just wee. Obviously, this is a comic book that's fictional. I would never do this to my sister. But now we're on the second page. Throughout the second page, feature Jackson. And then it's weird because it's literally perched up. Her head is upside down, and she's probably crawling on her arms that are down. I don't know. And then she tries eating my leg. And then, let me read it. It changed position. Die! As she tries to bite my leg. I'm sorry if I'm calling her it. And then I say, "Why does it look weird?" Yeah, I literally stomped on. It's alright, YouTube. It's not actual violence if it's drawn. YouTube. This is a fictional comic book. And really, I would never harm anyone. Only if they did harm to me. But this isn't really a human. She's a demon. And then just the weirdest thing ever happens. Instead of like tying her up or something, I just throw her in a closet. Yeah, that's a good idea. To throw her in a cramped closet, not doing anything. I'm sorry if you guys hear that, but it is heavy raining. We might lose power during this filming. So I throw her into it and say, "It did that. What? Did that because I did that. It did that because I had to." All right. Sometimes my writing is confusing. And then the doors just trying to slam on her. She's stuck in there. And then I open the door, and then I see my friend from school, and then this is weird because there's text box saying, expect the unexpected. And then it says, that's my friend, Bradley Arnold. He's my friend from school. He's gonna start a YouTube channel soon, so shout out to him. He's a cool guy. But sadly, later on in this story, not this issue or the second issue or all of the other issues except for the third one, he appears in. And then he has a bat on his shoulder and he says, here to base the ball. And then I say, all right, and let him inside. Cause I had to hit my friend. And then I see that the closet was open, and in the text box it says, she disappeared. Then I say, a fat witch. I cut off enough oxygen for her to faint. So, yeah, it is true that I threw her inside of a closet and she would have died. And Nick Bradley says, was she? Jupiter still has that side of her, so I had to find it. I have to find it. I had to or I have to. And then I say, and then in the next panel it says, some and you have to skip baseball. So me and you have to skip baseball. And then he just goes, let's go. I'm sorry if y'all think this is cringy, but it's so funny to me. When I see my phone's broken, I don't actually have a phone, but I did that for the story. And it's ringing, and I say, gosh dang it. And then all of the creme sudden on the ceiling is my sister. And also, if you guys notice this, her clothes are morphing into her body, such as her shirt. Which means she's literally just a demon. And he says, I will end you. And I say, oh no. Bradley pulls out his bat and says, Jackson, which is my name. And then he sees that. He jumps at my sister, and then he literally gets ravaged, bro. He gets ravaged. Literally, she just jumps at him. Even though she's like 3 feet in real life, she demolishes him. He's like 5 feet. He's like, ah! He's like, ah! And then in the next panel, where Jupiter literally just punches him, she says, the world was never meant for you. And then she's like, say bye in the next panel. Literally, Bradley has scars on his body. His face is injured. This is also my 90 subscriber celebration. Cuts on his face. He's not gonna make it. And then she says, I said. And then it shows her literally just smacking Bradley across the dang room. It looks like she groaned, actually. When you look at the panel closer, she literally have grown. And then in the next panel, somehow Bradley gets a bracelet, and he says, you will die. And then he throws the bracelet at her, and then runs. Ah! He says. And then I just come out of nowhere and say, more attacking. Pow. Take this. You too. This is not inflicting any violence on human beings. This is completely fine in the manner that this is made up and there's no such human harm going on. And then Bradley, oh my God, I'm gonna get demonetized from this. Oh, why did I draw this? And then Bradley says, more smacking around. And he says, ugh. And then he literally just bashes a literal crapping bat into her forehead, bro. This is not good. And then I punch her again. And then to get revenge on me and him, she does a crapping Kamehameha. Yeah! She says, and then I say, what's that? And then she says in the next panel, the witch shall return. And then I get literally obliterated by her. And then I say, don't ask how I lived. I got plot armor, dude. And then in the next page, I say, it hurts so much in the box. And I was like, ugh. And then Bradley throws a lasso up. This is obviously copying Lazarus Planet. Yeah, I used comic panels as reference, and then she says, ugh, huh? And then Bradley just drags her down. This is a cool fight scene. Like if you agree, and subscribe if you agree. And then he says, take this, and then he jumps up with his bat. And then apparently in this panel, the Sabbat witch has lost all sorts of legs. And then she says, what? And then this is a cool panel where Bradley just says, wacko. It says Wacho or Wacko. And then just bam! Bashes the bat into her face again. And then I come out of nowhere, and this might be a little reference to Alex Lennon. Subscribe to him, where my hair looks like his friend Jacob, and then Bradley looks like Alexander. So basically a reference to Alexander and Jacob. And then he says, hey Jackson, and then in the box it says Spike-Headed Jackson. Alright, so now this is the literal page that Jupiter comes back to life and gets a 70s haircut. She's like, ah! And then a giant demon comes out of her mouth. Like, not in a weird way, but just crawls out of her mouth. Since I like doing body horror, I literally made a demon form. So this is the demon that possessed Jupiter, of course. And you could obviously say that this part is pretty good. And then in a cool little panel thing, it says, oh my God. As I say oh, and then Bradley says oh, and then I say my, and then Jupiter says God. And then suddenly the monster just crawls down. And then I say, what is that? And then it's ready to smack all of us, probably killing us. And then I say, run! And then Bradley jumps up and says, take this! And then Jupiter says, come on. And then I say, Jupiter, my sister. And then I say, go, Jupe. And then she does this move that I made up called Visionary Psychosis. This might never come back. But then Bradley, or maybe even me, being the absolute Chad, cut off his legs. And then Bradley just coming in, cracking like Thor Ragnarok style. Just bashes his head, literally like scarred half of his face. And then I get the killing blow, and then he slowly disintegrates. Let me read it. Visionary Psychosis. Let's get it. Watch. Oh, he probably like threw like attacks at him, and then I say, and then he falls onto his legs, falls onto his knees and says, ugh. And then I say, it died. It wasn't expected. What is that? And this is the end of the issue. The Storm Taker. To be continued in the next issue, which we are covering in this video. So in this, it's basically, it says Jackson, number 2, June 16th. This is the final day of school for me. Somehow I trademarked a PNG of my character. And then the tagline of this is Jackson, Jupiter, Bradley, Ultimate Team. And this is a pretty cool cover. like if you agree, subscribe if you agree. So let's get into it. So the Stormtaker looks a little different from what he looked like in the last issue. He's supposed to be a giant, scary guy. And I was thinking he was gonna have like a normal head and mouth. But no, I wanna be different, man. I wanna make him look cool. So instead of him having a normal mouth that's like split, like normal mouth stuff, and then when I drew this, his jaw actually changed, and now his face is split down the middle for his mouth. It's a pretty cool idea, right? Like if you agree. And then I say run, and then somehow we're just like, we never run away. This will obviously be a very bad consequence. And then I say attack. Bradley jumps up, ready to attack. My sister goes back up and does visionary psychosis. And then somehow the Stormtaker's legs just disappear. And then I stab it in its leg, which is somehow still there. And then it falls down on its knees because I stabbed it. And then me, being an absolute dingus, says, jump in. I don't know why I'd say jump into a pregnant alien, bro. It's not a good idea. So then suddenly my sister accidentally lets go. But this should make sense because literally she was the second person in line, but Bradley somehow got up there first. She probably let go fast enough, but right as I'm about to grab her, suddenly I fall behind. And literally that's the most saddest scene. I don't know if there's any dialogue I missed. I didn't miss any dialogue on the last page. So I'm falling in. And then this is the weird, coolest scene ever. Not really. But the Stormtaker literally eats me. And it's sad because we literally see Bradley and Jupiter just falling. Suddenly, while I'm inside of the stomach of the Stormtaker, I break my sword and then throw it at its like core, and then I cut a hole through it, and then I jump through the hole, I think, and then suddenly the Stormtaker bashes his fist near Jupiter and Bradley, but then the Giga Chad, known as my dog, jumps in and saves them and literally tosses him. But here's the weird thing. I'm still there. He threw me while I was in there, bro. This is not cool, man. Not, as a character in Total Drama Island would say, not cool, dude. So my dog, who is large and buff, disappears. And then I'm falling, and then I do some Demon Slayer crap, and then I cut off its arms, legs, fingers. And then as everything's falling, Bradley decides to be a hero and pushes my sister out of the way, out of the Stormtaker's body part, Rain. And then suddenly, he's crushed by like a fist or a foot. Maybe the foot. Maybe even a genital. Yeah, I said that. But he doesn't have genitals, so it's not canon. So, basically, Bradley is crushed. And then my sister does like some weird moves and says, come on. And then just lifts him back up. And he's fine. He doesn't have any back injuries. He's perfectly fine. And the body part is just raised. It's not going down, it's just up there. And then suddenly, I zoom past the Stormtaker's eye, and then I get blasted. Bro. I get killed. And then Bradley's like, Jackson! And then my sister does some move, like literally just pulls the guy down. And then my dog, Jarvis, decides to make the ultimate sacrifice and sacrifices himself and flies the Stormtaker into space, killing it. But, are you ready for this? I'm still there. I didn't get burned. I got plot armor. Nobody cares if plot armor isn't that important anymore. I'm in space, and I don't even have a helmet on, and I press a button that just appeared, and then I can just float through space. I have a jetpack too. I don't think I drew that. But minutes later, I crashed down back on Earth, and then Bradley says, "Jackson!" And then Bradley's like, "We thought you died." And I say, "Instead, I saved us all." And then my sister was suddenly lifted up and threw to the crap inside. And then Bradley's like, "What?" I'm like, "What?" And then a guy appears. We don't know who he is until the 3rd issue, which took like 3 months to make. And these comic books are like 8 pages each. I found some way to try and extend them. And then suddenly I go into this like visionary psychosis. It's probably from this guy. And then Bradley's like, Jack. And then I go into some beast mode, which I don't think would ever be needed, but I just needed something to extend this comic. And then I attack Bradley, and then I get smacked in the face by Bradley, and then he gets ready to kill me again. And I say, "Bradley, stop!" And Bradley's like, "Jack, you survived?" And then suddenly, I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, I survived." And then we hear sirens. Woo wee woo wee 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 woo wee woo wee woo wee woo. And then a policeman says, "You're under arrest." And I'm like, "What?" And then I'm like, "Run!" And then Bradley's like, "My bat!" To be continued in the next issue, Jackson Wanted, part 1 of 2. I'm not finished with the 3rd issue yet, so this is gonna be kind of it for today's video, guys. So, yeah, those are my comic books. I'll be talking about them more. I have one more comic book to talk about soon, and that will probably be separated into its own issue, like own video, and that is the Incredible Jupiter comic book. Sadly, I'm not gonna make a continuation of that, but you guys know that these comic book read-throughs are gonna take like a minute. I'm gonna lose power in like 2 minutes. So that's gonna be it for today's video, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Play the outro.